enlightenment coming back to you. And it says little by little. And it's literally the channel message that I was talking today.
All right. Hello, everybody. I hope you're doing well. I have a channel message, and this one's going to be hard to digest. So I would suggest to ground yourself. I would suggest to meditate. I would suggest to, before all that, go pray to God, go talk to God, go ask what is going on, because there's going to be a lot of things that is going to happen, not just a few people, to everyone. That is going to be a bit uncomfortable at first. It's going to be like, what the hell? Like, why is this happening? You know, like, what is going on? But the thing is, some of you are put into situations, places, or in front of people who are meant to be serving some type of karma. So at first you're going to feel like, wait, why are they doing this to me? And again, please use your discernment. This is not for everybody. But it could be resonating for some of you that you're feeling some type of injustices and stuff like that. For example, me, I'm still recuperating and trying to deal with this. I wanted to go to court to contest this intense ticket that it was unreasonable, and it was actually in a place where I was literally sitting down right next to my car charging, and usually the machines, they don't work if you're not allowed to park in this area. But this specific place is I call it the city stealing, grabbing from people who you have hybrids. And this is in every area, and here in Montreal and Quebec. But for a lot of you, it might feel like, for me, it felt like unjust. Even the lady, like, I was like, and that too is very racist and discriminatory. Like, she started speaking in French, even though I was talking to her in English. So it happens a lot of you. So a lot of you, this is for those who live in this area and feeling the discrimination here and stuff like that. And but also it's very, apparently it was definitely a racial as well, because apparently this lady in this specific place, she lets people of white descent, no problem. She let them charge and she doesn't give them tickets. Even she forgives them. But people of color, she tends to don't give a fuck, doesn't listen to them. And if you speak English, even more discriminatory. And yeah, it was 353 fucking ticket. Like, I was like, wait, this is even beyond, like, what the hell? And she literally saw me and she didn't care. She just gave me, I was like, I'm literally right here. You can, and it's like, no, too bad. I was like, okay. So I contested, I took pictures and stuff like that. The government still like, yeah, you just have to show up to court and whatever. But Father God, this is just an example I'm giving you guys so that you understand what I mean. So Father God has asked me not to show up to court and to pay the ticket. I was like, how the hell? Like, I'm trying to save. I'm trying to even pay regular bills and pay people back and stuff like that. Like, I'm already struggling as it is. And Father God said, pay the ticket. So not only he kept saying, like, pay the ticket, because I'm going to use the injustice to transmute and alchemize it, to give those people karma. So a lot of you, that lady who gave me the ticket also is getting some type of karma, intense curse, but also the system through me paying. So when I end up paying that ticket, when I'm able to, because I'm literally asking God, like, how I'm going to do this. A lot of you, that's what it is. You're going to be tested. Your faith is going to be tested. Absolutely. So just giving you an example. For others of you, someone failed you in a test, someone discredit you, someone discriminated against you, someone is going against you because you're pro-Palestine, truth seeker, a journalist, someone murder, land theft, all of that. He's using a lot of you to be in circumstances and places and situations to not only, and also that too, to remove if anyone has hurt, hex you, curse you, has cursed your finances and stuff like that, which most of us who are true speakers, content creators, I just want to make it clear, and that's your confirmation as well. The government can't stand you. Politicians cannot stand you, because you're disrupting their narrative and the way that they wanted to make money, the way that they wanted to steal land, kill people, butcher people, and get away with it. Psychopathic behavior that you are supposed to be exposing. Yeah. So every time that someone of authority, because it's fake authority, it's an illusion, they should not exist. Billionaires should not exist, right? And in certain states should not exist as well, right? right? Because land back is going to happen, right? New system is going to change. So how does that happen? God is going to use a lot of y'all who are doing the right work, who are getting, instead of karma, dharma, because you are paying this is a form of paying your karmic debt, even though you're not going through, like, how do I explain this? Because it's not that karma to you. It's basically, it might feel like, you feel like, man, I'm getting through all of this, like, all this stuff, you know what I'm saying? But it's not. It's happening for you. So for a lot of you, if people have hexed you, cursed you financially, spiritually, any type of way, God is going to use situations that's going to happen to your life that is going to feel some type of like, fuck, what the hell? But it's not to you. It's basically he's going to use the injustice, because a lot of you, you're alchemists here. You're healers, you're alchemists, you're truth tellers, the content creators, especially pro-Palestine. Okay, this is your confirmation. And this is the confirmation for all this app as well. And, because I've been saying it like nonstop and they're not really listening. So, hey, to each their own. Because these people are already cursed. This is already predestined. Okay, and they're meant to do this. Every time they go ahead and do the injustice and the discrimination and the racism and do stuff to your family to try to curse you, and especially the Israeli psychos, Ziopedos, they're obsessed with taking destiny swap and trying to be Palestinians and trying to steal from them. And then that too, that white supremacy energy trying to be, like, they want to be indigenous and black people. Like, they're so jealous of black people. It's crazy. That's what racism is, Racism is basically white people jealous of people of color. That's really it. It's jealousy and envious spirit. Yeah, let that sink in. Swallow it in. Yeah, that's it. This is why we're telling you to anti-racism education is important. And class consciousness is being woke. Just saying. This is why the white supremacies or supremacists, which most of them are, psychotic and into, all kinds of weird shit, that is going to be exposed. Some of it is going to be exposed through you. And every time they attack you, then, like, for example, that Canadian guy that got unjustly here in Montreal, Quebec, like, they put him in jail or something, this girl making up story. Father God said he's innocent, and that girl, she's a liar. She's a liar. He kept saying she's a liar. And they're all lying. This is what they do. They're trying to change the narrative because they know people see it now. A lot of you are aware. You know that. Now you know the difference, that real Jews are anti-Zionists, and they wouldn't do this fucking shit. They're not okay with genocide. They're not okay with ethnic cleansing. They don't give a fuck about fucking Israel. That's how you know. Do you understand? And it's not about religion at the end of the day. Like, nobody cares. Okay, you're a Jew. Good. You're a Christian. Okay, cool. Okay. It's an illusion. It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, what matters is your morals and your values. And God sees it. That's why I keep telling you guys, God does not care about your external validation, your materialist, your status, your race. Doesn't matter. It's what's in your heart. And if you've been doing good, you've been advocating for others, you're doing the humanitarian work. A lot of you're tapping into climate justice as well, which is the same thing. It's all intersectional, okay? So advocating for others. Speaking up, even that you're getting the block from the throat and trying to shut the fuck up spells and the finances and corruption that you're seeing. And also you're seeing stuff that's happening to you, your car, for those who don't car, like your buses, your roads, your delays. It's not an attack. And sometimes it is. But God is allowing it to happen to a certain extent because he knows a lot of y'all what you can handle. A lot of you're going through a lot of stuff that you can handle. And it doesn't mean you deserve it, though. Don't think that God is doing that. It's just that those people who are doing it, this is what God is testing them too. Everybody's being tested. But at the end of the day, it's really your actions that matter. Those who are staying silent as well. There's stuff that's going to happen to them that they wish people will speak up for them. But nobody's going to listen because they weren't there for those who were speaking, who were yelling and asking for help. It's just the law of karma. A lot of you, the law of detachment is happening as well. I'm going to go into part 2 because I guess this message is getting long, but go into part 2, okay? Okay, so a lot of people, for example, another one that he's giving me, you're a student, okay? And you have this professor who is being mean to you, saying some type of stuff. This is especially for university and people who are supposed to be doing protesting right now. And God is saying, like, you're going above the fear, you know the tactics, you know what they're doing. They're trying to change the narrative. Also, they're trying to lower the amount of people who protest because you know the percentage that once it reaches, and it had already reached 2 years ago, it reached already. So they just want to keep it reducing, but the thing is, it just keeps increasing, okay? So it's all right. So this is why it's a tactic, the whole deportation, the whole like fear tactic and stuff like that. And for a lot of people, it's like, what the fuck? Like this actually happened, like, you know, and I'm really sorry, but there's a reason for it. Those who are doing the injustice, those who are in the immigration system, in the that too, Elon Musk is getting even more cursed because of what he did for the USA. Like he keeps saying, like those people, the young. This is why he picked the young guys to do that, because he wants to disrupt their future. Because he doesn't give a fuck. He knows where he's going, you know. So I feel really bad for those young people who let go of their integrity, let go of their soul. That's what it means when you give your soul to the devil. That's it. A lot of you could have said no, but you did it anyways. Or there's some type of bride or something that Elon Musk has, you know, threatened with, so for them to do this. So God knows everything, okay? He sees everything what we cannot see. And sometimes I cannot reveal everything. I just have to reveal what he's allowing me to reveal, okay? But that one is another confirmation. There is not just a curse, it's like something intense is going to happen, okay? Because there is, even though the justice system here is a little corrupt and they think they can get away with a lot of stuff in the spiritual realm, no, that counts. And it's major. It's actually more severe than what we see in the physical. So that's why I tell you guys, you have to respect the spiritual realm more than you respect the physical here or the flesh, because it costs more in the spirit. It accumulates negative karma, evil doing, lying, stealing, killing, butchering, messing with children, any type of way, any type of abuse. It costs more in the spirit realm. A lot of you really don't want to remember your purgatory time in your soul, right? This is why a lot of you struggle with the shadow work and inner work. But some of us, we have seen what had happened to our souls in purgatory, and we will never. We will never. This is why we don't mess with any of that satanic, diabolical shit. This is why we don't do witchcraft, like rituals and stuff. We're like, no, we're the light and we're going to tap into. But a lot of you are spiritual judges. So you have to expose both sides. And the really dark side, the truth that nobody wants to hear, that nobody can take, that's our job. I know it's my job. And I don't, trust me, I don't want to do it, but I have to do it. I have to. And I have to maintain that honesty, truth, clarity, and justice everywhere I go. Just like we give karma, I also get karma when I don't do stuff the right way. Or when I mess up. Because we're not perfect here. Nobody's perfect. Not here to, indulge in that. We're here to learn. Earth is an earth school to learn. Now, but the confirmation is this. A lot of you're going to experience a lot of weird ass shit for immigrants as well. You might feel like the world is like, you're going back to the country and you're like, what the hell? Or a lot of you're going to countries that have never lived there, but you're being deported there or stuff like that, right? There's a lesson when you go to those things, and it is an injustice. But those on the immigration systems are going to get severe karma. There's financial deficits. I already feel it here in Montreal, Quebec as well. Like it's not normal that they're giving tickets everywhere to people when they haven't cleaned the streets. We have barely anywhere to park. And they're just giving tickets everywhere. Cops are everywhere, and all this weird ass energy is like also attacking people with disability, their transport. That shows how the society is crumbling. It's not a good society when they're literally attacking and privatizing, trying to privatize transportation for people with disability. Let that sink in. So for people with disability, like, freaking out and stuff like that, don't be in despair. No fear. Know that God is all over there. But know and be aware that the devil is all in the details as well. He's a fucking coward. And he's getting it. Because he's using everybody who has a weak mind, a weak motherfucker, and a coward. To this day, we still haven't found any righteous people that stand up to all these oligarchs and say, fuck you. Because that's what we should be doing. All these people, rich people, taking advantage of vulnerable people, oppressed, and trying to keep it as it was in the past. No, God is not allowing that. That's why for a lot of you, a lot of things are happening for you, not to you. And also it's happening because through you, those who are attacking you, those who are putting you in jail unjustly, innocent people, or, you know, the dungeons and prisons, Holocaust that's going on in Gaza, in Palestine, the same thing was going on in the Congo, in the Sudan. That is unjust, and I know it sounds like, wait, so they don't deserve that. But those who are doing the injustice, God is doing what He's gonna do. At first it's gonna feel like, what the hell, like, you know, why, like, you know, God, you don't love me anymore. Like, no, it's the opposite. It's allowing it to make these motherfuckers think that they're winning, that they're getting away with it. But there's a lot of situations that are going to happen, and soon, like fast. Like before it was like, you know, in divine timing and it take a while. No, now it's fast. God is working. Just continue praying. Your prayers are being answered, guys. And even when you're going through that stuff, in tribulation, this is when you have to hold on even longer, tighter. Pray faster. Continue praying. Fast if you can. But keep that connection with God, and He's going to confirm to you. Okay? And yes, even if it's hard and it's annoying, you're like, man, I don't want to do that. I don't want to forgive. You have to forgive. Because not only that sets you free, but that allows the person that needs to go through the God's wrath and God's situation that is going to happen, especially those who are like, I don't believe in God. I don't give a fuck. And I don't believe in karma. They don't believe in bar karma, because karma is balance. It's justice. So there's a lot of people that are going to go through intense karma and fast. This is your confirmation. But for you, it's going to feel like intense. A lot of you, just be grateful. You have a place to stay. You have water. You have food. And those who don't have, somehow in a miracle, something happened that it makes happen for you. Especially those who are dealing with homelessness right now. That it's not fair. It's not. So this is also an attack on the system that God is going to do. Are you allowing this person to continue being homeless? That lady that lost her 2 children in the cold, the system, God is going to that system in Detroit. Detroit, I don't know which area it was, but yeah, because that lady was anointed and they ignore her. And then her 2 children died. My condolences to her, you know? And to the 18,000 children that were murdered by Netanyahu from Israel. And in the Congolese, so many people, so many children in slavery right now, dying, the women being raped, right? All that accumulates in the spiritual realm. And those who are doing it, God is going after them. Don't rejoice on their karma as well. I understand that a lot of you like, yeah, that you're getting, don't do that. Just continue doing what you're doing, okay? Stay in your lane. Hold on to God. Hold on to the faith. Okay? But yeah, it's just intense for the system. God is going through all the corrupt politicians, government oligarchs. He's going through all of them. So there's going to be not just financial deficit. He said health everywhere. And it's going to be most of the cellular level. So it could be some type of brain, a lot of stuff. Freak accidents. Yeah, and then you see it's going to be like that Delta airplane. Everyone's going to survive, but the right wings are going to be exploded. That's for someone. I love you guys. Keep the faith and keep the good energy, okay? And hang on, all right? Continue your prayers, okay? Hang on to God, all right? Continue the faith. Continue exposing the truth. Continue boycotting. God is counting on those who are boycotting, by the way. That is how you also pay your karmic debt. And you make sure that those motherfuckers pay their fucking financial debt, karma that they're supposed to own, okay? I love you.
Like I got this morning, I'm going to another site right now. So that it was coming back to you. So like whatever attacks or anything that anybody's doing, especially if you're standing up for truth, justice, and clarity, anything that you're doing right now, if you're standing out for another person, especially those oppressed or dealing with injustices or discrimination or any type of weird stuff, because a lot of people are sacrificing others for disgusting, dirty money right now, corrupt, okay? And yeah, Father God kept confirming today. Actually, it was yesterday more or less, but I was just like, I'm waiting for full confirmation, you know? And yeah, he keeps saying it's coming back to you, okay? It's coming back to you. And then also it could be for the opposite, for the haters and the evil Knievel and attacking people, the oppressor, colonizers, the oligarchs, okay? That's heavy, 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 okay? Like the heavy karma that's coming. Also, there's something, yeah, in terms of their sexual, yeah, there's something is already happening. It's itchy down there, is it? It's gonna get worse. That's your confirmation as well, motherfucker. Especially those who use that for, yeah. So yeah, there's something is going to happen. No medication, by the way. There's no cure or whatever that you're trying to find. There's some weird fucking cult thing. There's a cult or covenant or something, a very dark one. It's falling. Okay, already fault, okay, and this is why they get mad. They, you know, they're heavily monitors as well, monitoring people, especially those who speak the truth and stuff like that. These are people who work for, you know where they work, right? And yeah, and they're mad. They're losing money. They're losing a lot of things. People don't want to associate themselves with them anymore. That's it. Like a lot of people are like just cutting a lot of toxic behavior, you know, and also like it's heavy, you know, the society of Israel, like, you know, like the mass is coming off. Like a lot of people are like, wait, you're protesting that Palestinians get raped? Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Yeah, that is it's not a propaganda, that is actually a fact, okay? They do this. This is their society. This is why the society is disgusting.
I'm Jewish. I lost members of my family during the Holocaust. And the truth is, Israel does not represent me. Israel does not make me safer. In fact, it puts me and all Jews in greater danger. Because as Israel commits these crimes against humanity and live streams them, and in some cases gleefully live streams them, we've seen soldiers doing this, Israel doing that and saying it's in the name of Jews, that will create anti-Semitism. The idea that Israel represents all Jews is in itself an anti-Semitic idea. The dual loyalty trope says that all Jews are a monolith and we're all loyal to Israel and we can't be trusted to be loyal to other governments, regardless of where we live. That is really what Israel is leaning into. And you have anti-Semites and then the government of Israel, AIPAC and the ADL, all making the same argument, which I think really shows you the dangers and the inherent anti-Semitism of Zionism. People like to claim that anti-Zionism is anti-Semitic. Well, it's actually not, given that you literally have more Christian Zionists in the world than you have Jewish Zionists. This particular Christian form of Zionism wants Jews to go back to Israel so we can provoke the end times, Armageddon. All Jews except a very lucky 400 who accept Christ as their Lord and Savior burn for all of eternity. So these are the allies. All these cancel culture warriors who talk about right-wingers being canceled are very silent, interestingly enough, when it comes to critics of Israel, who are probably the most canceled people of all. If you're a Palestinian critic of Israel, you're very, very, very canceled. If you're a Jewish critic of Israel, you're less canceled, but you're still canceled. You're just canceled as a self-loathing Jew as opposed to an anti-Semite, which is a significant difference. I mean, I was fired by a network for saying that Israel is an apartheid state. So my being Jewish didn't really protect me. And of course, there's a huge bias in the way that corporate media reports on Israel-Palestine. They're very clear when Russia does something. Russia bombs, Russia strikes, Russia kills. When it's Israel, it's often Palestinians killed in attack, Palestinians dead after bombing. We even know that networks and outlets instruct their writers and reporters not to use certain words like genocide, not even to use the word Palestine. In fact, the reporting by the New York Times on the alleged mass rape used by Hamas was so bad that they had to cancel a podcast that they were going to do about it because there was so little to back it up. Now, on the other hand, you have countless stories and allegations of Israelis raping Palestinians. That got totally ignored. It's really fascinating that we hear time and time again about the 40 beheaded Israeli babies even though there was no evidence of that. And we do have evidence of actually beheaded babies, children with their heads blown off. I mean, we saw a child literally shredded. Various representatives of the Israeli government are never asked about that. They're never asked to condemn Israel's violence. They're never asked to condemn Israel's terrorism. There was a doctor who was tortured to death. If you don't already feel disturbed by the images of Palestinians or the stories of Palestinians, the story of Hind Rajab, who was left in a car to die when she was begging for help, and Israeli soldiers shot up the car and shot up the ambulance trying to rescue this girl. If that doesn't haunt you, I would really urge you to imagine this happening to a Jewish child during the Holocaust. I think that Jews should understand this, if anything, more than other people, because of our history of being targeted, of being otherized, of being compared to vermin, of attempted extermination, of genocide and ethnic cleansing, and of the world looking the other way. That is something that we have to remember. That happened to us. We can't let that happen to other people. That's not justice. That's not how we honor those killed in the Holocaust. Everything that Israel tells you about its founding, about its history, and about its role today is a lie. Some people think, oh, Israel was founded for Holocaust survivors, and then it got greedy and took over too much land and ruined its founding mission, which was to be a safe haven for Jews. The truth is, it was founded on ethnic cleansing. It was not a utopia. I think it's really eye-opening to look at the actual language of early Zionists, because they were calling their banks colonial trusts. They were talking about how natives always resist colonists. In other words, it's not just critics of Zionism who describe Zionism as colonial. It was the Zionists themselves. Israeli society really had a lot of disdain for Holocaust survivors. So they did something very disgusting. They both weaponized the Holocaust to justify their extermination of Palestinians, and they mistreated Holocaust survivors. In fact, they even referred to them as sapon, which means soap in Hebrew. And that was because there was a myth that Nazis turned Jewish bodies into soap. It's not true, but that was a myth. And the important thing is that people thought that was true, and they thought it would be appropriate to call survivors by that name. Israel wanted to create a new Jew that was armed, that was working the land. They were ashamed of the Jews who were killed. They thought that they went to their slaughter like sheep. They were ashamed of Jews who were religious, Jews who were scholars, Jews who were also cosmopolitan. They really did, ironically, internalize a lot of anti-Semitism. There were Zionist bombings in the Middle East that were used to scare people into emigrating out of Iraq, out of Morocco, and into Israel. That's how little they cared about Jewish people. They bombed synagogues in order to get people to leave the Middle East and go to Israel, where they would be mistreated, which is what happened to Mizrahi Jews. Some were basically put into camps. They rejected Yiddish, which was spoken by Eastern European and diasporic Jews, and they also rejected Arabic, which was spoken by Mizrahi Jews of the Middle East. Yiddish is an amazing language, and it's dying out, and the reason it's dying out is because Israel chose to create modern Hebrew, which no one spoke, and they had a lot of disdain for a lot of Jewish culture. So Israel has always been a racist project in many ways, against Palestinians, but even against Jews themselves. And it's been an anti-Semitic project as well. Not only is Judaism obviously much older than Zionism, but there was Christian Zionism from the very beginning, and that was fueled by anti-Semitism and the desire to get Jews out of Europe. Lord Balfour of the Balfour Declaration was a major anti-Semite. Zionism actually requires anti-Semitism to justify its existence. So for Zionists, they don't want to defeat anti-Semitism. They want to use it to strengthen the state of Israel. It's also true to remember that this is not a conflict about religion or culture. Jews and Christians and Muslims lived in peace, in harmony in many areas of the Middle East for centuries. This is about power. This is about land. This goes back to resources. This goes back to the West wanting to have a foothold in the Middle East. This is not about religion. Jewish anti-Zionism has existed since Zionism. A lot of Jews opposed Zionism because they, I would say rightly, predicted it would create anti-Semitism. There's a very rich radical history of Jewish internationalism during the Spanish Civil War, which many people see as the dry run for World War II among all the international brigades. So all the volunteers who left their countries to fight in a war against fascism, the most common language spoken was Yiddish, which speaks to this tradition. If we look at so many struggles like the civil rights movement in the United States, there were lots of Jews involved in that. Jewish people were overrepresented in that movement. If you look at South Africa, some of the most active anti-apartheid activists were Jewish. That's the tradition that I'm proud to be part of, not a tradition which weaponizes trauma, tragedy, and the Holocaust to kill more people. Israel is unsustainable. There's no coming back from this. Something new needs to be created. Jews can live side by side with Muslims and Christians in Palestine, just as they have for centuries. If coexistence is so impossible, and if anti-Semitism is so impossible to fight against, how is it that Jews live in Germany today? Germany was where anti-Semitism turned into the Holocaust, and yet somehow Jews are able to live in Germany in safety. But we're supposed to believe that they can't live in Palestine in safety? Palestine is not the country that created Adolf Hitler. Palestine is not the country that created the Holocaust. The biggest threat to Jewish safety is not a free Palestine, it's Zionism.
אלכסנדר טרופנוב, כמו שהבטחתי לכם, אני רוצה להעביר לכם מסר. דבר ראשון, אני רוצה להגיד שמצבי טוב ואני בריא. וזאת למרות שהצבא הישראלי וחיל האוויר ניסו להרוג אותי מספר רב של פעמים. ותודה לאל שהיום אני יכול לדבר מולכם, ותודה לפעילים של שרה אל-קודס שדאגו לי ושמרו עליי. עכשיו אני רוצה להגיד לכם את האמת. הממשלה, נתניהו והדרגים הביטחוניים משקרים עליכם. הם אומרים לכם שהם רוצים להחזיר אותנו באמצעות הלחץ הצבאי, אבל בפועל הם מחפשים להרוג אותנו. הם לא רוצים לשלם את המחיר של החזרתנו בחיים. הם רוצים להחזיר גופות. זה הרבה יותר זול, זה הרבה יותר משתלם.
הם רוצים להחזיר גופות. זה הרבה יותר זול, זה הרבה יותר משתלם.
ובגלל זה אני פונה אליכם המפגינים. בבקשה, תפגינו, תעשו רעש, תפעילו לחץ. אני לא רוצה להיות המספר הבא שיהרג. אתם יודעים בדיוק כבר כמה אסירים נהרגו פה בעזה על ידי ההפצצות של חיל האוויר והכוחות צבאיים. בבקשה, שאני לא אהיה הבא בתור. תעזרו לי לחזור הביתה בריא ושלם לאמא שלי, לאבא שלי, לחברה שלי, לסבתא שלי ולכל שאר החטופים. בבקשה, תעזרו לנו. ממשלה והנהגה שלא מעריכה את חיי אזרחיה לא ראויה לקיום. אני מבקש מכם, אזרחי ישראל והמפגינים, תעשו הכל כדי שהממשלה הזאת תיפול, כדי שתקום ממשלה חדשה שתפעל לשחרורנו בהקדם. הדרך היחידה, הפתרון היחיד להחזיר אותנו בחיים, היא להסכים לעסקה ולהגיע להפסקת אש. אני קורא לכם המפגינים לפתוח את אל-ג'זירה, למרות שנתניהו מנע ממנה לשדר בארץ, וזאת בגלל שהיא השמיעה את קולנו, ולשדר את המסר שלי בכל רחבי הארץ, מול משרדי הממשלה, משרדי הביטחון, מול הכנסת. תגרמו להם לשמוע את מה שיש לי להגיד, תגרמו להם לשמוע את המצב שאנחנו נמצאים בו, ותפעילו עליהם לחץ כדי שיגיעו לעסקה. אני רוצה לחזור הביתה לאמא שלי, לאבא שלי, לחברה שלי. אני רוצה להמשיך את החיים שהיו לי פעם. לא עשיתי שום דבר רע שמגיע לי להיות פה אסיר, שהחיים שלי לקחו ממני. כל מה שעשיתי זה להיות במקום הלא נכון, בזמן הלא נכון. נתניהו, קח אחריות, תחזיר אותנו הביתה. ואני מבקש מכם, למפגינים, אל תיתנו לממשלה הכושלת הזאת לחטוף את החיים שלי ושל שאר המפגינים. תפעלו כדי שהם יחזירו אותנו הביתה בשלום. אמא ואבא, אני רוצה לפנות אליכם. כרגע מצבי טוב, אני בריא, דואגים לי, מתייחסים אליי יפה, אבל אני מבקש מכם, גם עכשיו, כשהמצב לא ברור, וגם אם הנורא מכל יקרה, בבקשה תמשיכו בחיים, תשמרו על אופטימיות, תשמרו על עצמכם ותמשיכו בחיים, לא משנה מה.
It is not up to the state to declare that some Jews are good Jews and other Jews are bad Jews. I'm a member of JVP and an anti-Zionist because I am the daughter of Holocaust survivors. The Shoah is baked into my DNA, and that's why I call for Palestinian liberation. JVP has 20,000 supporters in Massachusetts spanning 285 zip codes. We are fully committed to fighting anti-Semitism and envision a world where all people can live in peace as equals, where the safety of one group does not come at the expense of the safety of another group. Jews have argued about Zionism since Zionism was first developed. This kind of debate and contestation are core Jewish values. You may know the joke, 2 Jews, 3 opinions. In this audience today, there are many Jews and non-Jews who strongly believe that it is not anti-Semitic to be anti-Zionist. It is not anti-Semitic to call what's happening in Gaza genocide. It is your responsibility in this commission to ensure that teachers have the space to teach students how to ask good questions and understand multiple perspectives. It is the responsibility of this commission to focus its energy on the very real threat to all of us posed by white supremacy. No one on the commission seems to be worried about the single greatest threat to Jews, namely white supremacist anti-Semitism. No one has mentioned white supremacist anti-Semitism. If the commission goes the route of privileging an Israel-centered approach to fighting anti-Semitism, it runs the risk of being seen as a partisan political tool and losing all legitimacy. At this dangerous moment in history, it is the commission's urgent task to ensure that critical inquiry is the core of our pedagogy.
When I talk about apartheid, the apartheid happening on YouTube, and the insane double standard that they employ in their so-called rules and monetization policies, this is what I'm talking about. This is Channel 14, which is an Israeli channel that is monetized on YouTube. And just to warn you, this clip, you're not going to believe it's real.
המסר שלי הוא לביבי, של 100 יום, יש לנו עד היום, לסגור את עזה, מכיוון דיר ברח לעזה, ולא לוותר גם על החטופים שלנו, אלא אם כן, גם לא לתת לאזרחים שם לצאת, ולהכות בהם, כשימותו גם החטופים שלנו. אם הם לא יוצאו את החטופים, שימותו גם החטופים וגם האזרחים שלהם. להשמיד את כולם. את כולם. זהו. אני רואה שבאף מקום לא מדברים על זה, אני אומר את זה.
That was insane. That was insane. I can't believe that's even real. That they'll say shit like that, like it ain't no thing. He said just give up on the hostages. Who cares? Who cares? Just leave them. Annihilate them all, he's saying about the Palestinians. Weird, I'm not seeing YouTube go after this channel for violent criminal organizations or promoting terrorism. What the fuck would you call what I just showed you? There are so many examples like this of channels doing shit like this, and some to a lesser extent that are violent, that they have monetized on here. But remember, they demonetized my entire channel because I made a video talking about how the US admitted that Hamas had not been defeated in Gaza and called for the liberation of Palestinian people. That's what they permanently demonetized my channel over, not to mention all the people I've already told you about that they also did this to for speaking out about the genocide in Gaza. This apartheid, okay, this double standard is such horseshit. It can't stand. It can't stand. I need people to speak out about this. YouTube needs to be held accountable for this, okay? If you are going to allow or err on the side of more speech, then you need to remonetize all the channels that you unfairly demonetize. But if you're gonna be incredibly censorious and take content down constantly for violent criminal organizations, there is no argument, no argument whatsoever that a channel like this should stay up. Or all the other mafia channels that you guys have monetized on here glorifying violence. What the fuck is No. The call to action is this. Tag YouTube in the comments and tell them that they need to hold the same standard. They need to either remonetize all the accounts that they demonetized over Palestine, or they need to go on a demonetizing spree of all these types of channels, okay? Also tag your lawmakers, because we need a hearing on this. YouTube has refused to engage with anybody talking about this and calling them out, and they need to be held accountable. So it is time to take this to Capitol Hill. Tag whoever your congressperson is, particularly if they sit on the oversight committee.
They say that courage is made in Palestine, and I would say that their courage has been exported around the entire world. A name that was obliterated, removed from maps and atlases, taken from our global consciousness, but once again revived on the tip of the tongue of every nation on planet Earth. The Palestinians have endured. We have watched you, Palestinians. We have watched you in the dead of night from the glow of our phones. We have watched your women as they have wailed and howled over the bodies of their tiny children. We have watched your paramedics work courageously, and we have watched your fathers carry the limbless and headless bodies of their infants raised up high for the world to see. We have watched your courage and your defiance and your steadfast approach to protecting what's yours. We have watched your humour and your culture and your dance. We have watched as your buildings have been systematically destroyed, your hospitals, your schools, your universities, your houses. We have watched as those who bomb them act with arrogance and glee. And they talk, don't they, of God's chosen people. And those of us who weren't religious before, we certainly are now, because we've seen the devil at work. We have seen the glint in his eye and the happiness, glee, and satisfaction that comes from the death and the destruction. And we have watched the tens of thousands of little blue bags lined up in mass graves. And we have watched your children sing despite it all. And the more we learned, and the more we cried, and the more we begged, and the more we pleaded, and the more we spoke, the courage we gleaned from you, Palestinians, because every time we felt afraid or unsure, we would come back to you. We would come back to you, and you would replenish our cups of courage. And as we would witness those who call themselves God's chosen people destroy the very essence of life, whether it's a tree, a dog, a horse, a baby, a mother, a father, or a paramedic, or indeed the doctors and journalists, of which there were many, they did this with satisfaction and glee and arrogance. I don't think God would work that way. But you, my dears, you never, ever portrayed yourselves as the victims, or even as God's chosen people. You just led the way. As true leaders, you've led the way. And for that, I thank you. And it's a true honour to be on this planet at this time, to breathe the same air as you, because you're leading us all out of the darkness and into liberation. And whenever I feel fearful, I come back, I replenish my courage with you, and now I stand firm. They can incarcerate us, they can counsel us, they can intimidate us, they could kill us. But at this point in my life, when it comes to hundreds of thousands of Palestinians and 50% children, I will never feel fear again. So thank you. Free Palestine.
Why do I look like old dirty bastard? Y'all, Serena Williams is a Zionist. First of all, she went to the 60th anniversary of the State of Israel. It's giving, I'm being used by white supremacy to normalize something that's completely evil. In 2008, Israel killed 1,400 people in 23 days, which was like the worst thing that they had been through at that time, in which they targeted the innocent and they targeted UN schools, kind of like they've been doing now, that harbored hundreds of Palestinian families. It was called Operation Cast Lead, and all these celebrities were asked to boycott it. And did she boycott it? What did she do? She protected an Israeli tennis star from going to Dubai because Dubai was boycotting them for what their people did during Operation Cast Lead. And she used her power to make sure that that person could still participate, which normalizes their apartheid of these people. Oh, and, of course, she vacationed there because that place is like the tennis capital, right? So it's okay to participate in apartheid in a country that is committing a genocide against an ethnic group and a native population, as long as it has a capital for tennis for her. Did I mention her husband is a whipcracker and also a Zionist who is heavily invested in the Israeli project? Did I mention this is how he responded to Germany brutalizing protesters? Did I mention this is how he responded to the protest on the college campuses? These were literally lies, by the way. Nobody even said that. He's just making shit up.
Last night I went to see the Oscar-nominated film No Other Land in Vienna, Austria. And the fact that this film was even shown here is a big win. Palestinian and Israeli filmmaker Basil Adra and Yuval Abraham really masterfully documented firsthand the brutal reality of Palestinian life under Israeli military occupation and apartheid, and also the decades-long collusion between the Israeli army and the settlers to effectively terrorize Palestinians off their land. The film highlighted the Israeli restrictions that divide Yuval and Basil and the fight for Palestinian freedom that united them. And that was so beautiful. They shot it over 5 years. I was pleasantly surprised to see the theater so packed. There's no way I could confirm that everyone that attended was indeed of Austrian descent, but I think the great majority were. The subtitles were in German. The film was utterly devastating. It was powerful, moving, equally heartwarming and heartbreaking. But it also beautifully displayed the courage, resistance, and bravery of the Palestinian people. I started to record here because I was really impacted by this moment. Never in my entire life of going to the movies have I sat in a full theater where the audience did not move, did not speak, and just sat speechless as they watched the credits roll till the very end. This is the power of film. For an hour and 36 minutes, everyone in this room did not doom scroll. They didn't answer that call. They weren't distracted in any way. They were 100% immersed and exposed to the indisputable plight of the Palestinians and the grotesque injustices they have endured for decades. And now they can't unsee what they saw. Now they will undoubtedly speak about their experience and tell a friend to watch the film or discuss what they saw with their loved ones. And there's power in that. Because see, now they have bared witness too. And they will feel the responsibility to do something, to say something. Collectively, it is not just our right, it is now our duty to advocate for the plight of the Palestinians.
Thousand Palestinians face one of the single biggest expulsion decisions since the Israeli occupation of the Palestinian territories began in 1967.
مسافر يطا هي المكان اللي كبرت فيه. بداية تصويري هي بداية نهاية.
أنا يوفال، كيفك؟
هو صحفي بيكتب عن هذا المعادي ولا يهود؟ عالم كامل مبني على الفصل.
ممكن يكون أخوك أو صاحبك إجا وهدم بيه.
إيش ممكن نسوي يعني؟
He spent years documenting Israeli efforts to evict Palestinians living in Masafriyata.
אני קשור לפה, כי הדברים האלה קורים בשמי.
هيك بدك شيء يصير كل شيء بسرعة والله شيء مستمر لسنين. يدمرونا شوي شوي. أصعب نضال هو الثبات في الأرض. مسافة رياضة موجودة لسبب واحد. الناس بتوجد حياة لنفسها.
And then you've got the Israeli army, which I like to refer to as one of the best trained, best equipped, best fed terrorist organizations in the world. And yes, they have generals and they have nice uniforms, but their entire purpose is terrorism. And just as one example, I'll give you one example. Almost exactly 4 years ago, as Israel began its attack on Gaza, September the 27th, 2008, at 11:25 in the morning. What I refer to as the most shameful day in the Jewish history. The most shameful day in the history of the Jewish people. Israel began carpet bombing Gaza, and on the first day of what was to be a 21-day attack, they dropped 100 tons of bombs. Okay, a 1-ton bomb will decimate an entire city block. Gaza is one of the most densely populated places in the world. 800,000 children live in Gaza. 11:25 is exactly the time when the morning school shift and the afternoon school shift change. So all the kids are in the streets. All the children are on the streets. That was the moment decided by the decision makers in Israel to begin the attack. This was the first day of a 21-day slaughter that had absolutely no justification. If that's not terrorism, I don't know what is.
I don't recognize the gospel in many of these leaders who openly have called for Israel, some of them, to turn Gaza into a parking lot. It's shocking to us how distant they are from the very same teachings of Jesus. And don't tell me it's all about a certain theological belief or how they understand the Bible. No, it's much more than that. That's why we talk about the weaponization of the Bible. The Bible has been weaponized by the empire, as we call it. Christian Zionism is a political movement today. They are engaged in political lobbying on behalf of Israel, especially in American politics. When Trump moved the embassy from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem, the American embassy, he said, and I quote, "I did it for the evangelicals." So this is how influential they are. They give millions of dollars. Actually, one organization alone gave more than $1.5 billion, raised $1.4 billion from the 70s until today, from evangelical churches to Israel. And then to add on all of that, as Palestinian Christians, they are posing an existential threat on us. Our future is at stake here as a Palestinian Christian community, but they could care less.
Christians in Jerusalem's Old City say they are often harassed, spit on, and even physically attacked by religious Jewish youth. Recently, Israeli Channel 13 reporter Yossi Eli went undercover as a priest for a day. Dressed in a robe, he walked through the Old City with Franciscan Father Alberto. In the first 5 minutes, he was spat at 5 times by Orthodox Jewish Israelis.
I'm
going to be arrested for social media posts criticizing Israel, and specifically criticizing a genocidaire, Dalia Kurtz, who wants to see more Palestinian blood spilled. And after I publicized the fact that I was being charged for social media posts criticizing Israel, the police have responded by saying I'm harassing the police. So initially, I'm supposedly harassing a genocidaire for social media posts criticizing Israel. And then when I write about the fact that I'm being charged for criticizing Israel, the police are now saying they feel harassed. And a police investigator has actually brought in 4 different charges of harassment, intimidation, entrave, I guess interference, against me on the grounds that I wrote about the fact that I was being charged for social media posts criticizing Israel. And this is, I think, a pretty flagrant abuse of the state authority on behalf of those promoting Israel's crimes. This is obviously an attack against freedom of expression, but really what it is a use of the policing and legal system to target someone that opposes the Canadian government's complicity in a genocidal rampage by Israel that's left at least 100,000 people dead, killed in Gaza, destroyed most buildings, destroyed most agricultural land, even if Israel just stopped tomorrow, people will be dying for years and years because of all the unexploded ordnance, because of all the chemical pollutants, the asbestos, all the other things that they've released into the toxic environment that is Gaza. And of course, we know that the Israeli government is actually trying to restart its ethnic cleansing and genocide campaign. So it's an absolute outrage that the Montreal police would put the powers of the state at the service of those who are doing everything they can to enable Israel to kill more and more and more Palestinians. So today, from what I understand, I'm going to go in there. They're going to try to put some conditions. They haven't made it clear what the conditions are. Initially, the initial condition was that I don't talk about the case. So I don't talk about the fact that I'm being charged for social media posts criticizing Israel. We'll see if they try to continue with that. We actually have a legal judgment, very clearly legal judgment, saying that's absolutely unconstitutional. Whether the police continue with that, I don't know at this point. The police officer yesterday told me they would detain me until I see a judge. He said it would be overnight. I've heard conflicting things on that. It might be 6 hours. It might be till tomorrow morning. Obviously, any minute of time that myself, all of you that are here to come down, thanks a lot for coming down. All of all this time is sucking resources away from the work we have to do to stop the Canadian government from enabling Israel's crimes. And this is what the Canadian government and Zionist forces across the country have been doing. They've been using the police system, they've used the legal system to basically suck up the resources of a grassroots popular uprising against the Canadian government's complicity in Israel's Holocaust. So it's a real shame on the Montreal police to have joined in this. I don't believe any of these charges will. I believe that the Crown will ultimately just drop the charges, and certainly if it came before a judge, the judge will just drop it. It's a joke. I'm a father of a 2-year-old and a 7-year-old. I've written 13 books. I'm not a threat to Dahlia Kurtz. I've never met Dahlia Kurtz. I've never talked to Dahlia Kurtz. I've never messaged Dahlia Kurtz. The police officer told me Dahlia Kurtz lives in Toronto. I mean, it's a comedy. But this is what the police investigators have decided to move forward with. And I think the context of them moving forward with it is this onslaught of Zionist groups claiming that Jewish Canadians are under threat. It's a danger. The mob, the pro-Palestinian mob, the deport them all, like Dahlia Kurtz goes on and on. This anti-Palestinian racism, this Islamophobia that is being pushed all over. This is the context of which the Montreal police investigator responds by following through on Dahlia Kurtz. And I should also say that Dahlia Kurtz, as the investigator told me initially, the initial investigator, that it's a legal firm. So she didn't bring it, this charge forward herself. It was a legal firm, and apparently it's the law firm of Neil Oberman, who's been launching injunctions against Palestine groups for months now, many against McGill. The encampment in McGill is the most well-known one. And so it's him that prepared this case. It goes back like 5 months, according to the police investigator. I don't know why they decided to move 2 days ago on this, but it's a coordinated attack. So it's a threat to freedom of expression, and most importantly, it's a threat to those who don't want our government to enable, to support, to assist, to finance, to arm Israel's genocidal onslaught against Palestinians in Gaza and West Bank and more generally. Palestine! Free Palestine! Free, 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 free.
So let's talk about something that's pissing me off. The way people love to have opinions on activism, but only when it's convenient for them. The ones who sit back, do nothing, but the second someone actually takes action, they're like, why focus on Palestine when there are problems at home? What about Sudan, Congo? Why talk about global queer struggles when we have issues here? Cool. So where was that energy before? Where was that energy when the world wasn't watching? Oh, right. It's only brought up to dismiss the people actually doing something. This is the problem with selective outrage. People suddenly remember local struggles only to derail conversations about global ones. But let's be real, how much do you actually care? Because when it's time to support those local fights, no petition signed, no funds donated, no post shared unless it's a trend, just excuses. And to my fellow queer folks who think this doesn't concern us, wake up. Anti-LGBTQ plus laws, they spread. Far-right ideologies, they spread. The same forces making life hell for queer folks in Russia, Uganda, and the US are connected to the same systems fueling global oppression. So stop acting like you're in a bubble. If the world burns, we burn with it. The truth is, all of this is connected. When we ignore genocide, apartheid, war crimes, when we sit back and let injustice happen elsewhere, it sets a precedent. If it's okay in Palestine, Sudan, or Congo, guess what? It becomes okay everywhere else too. So, instead of wasting time policing people who actually give a damn, ask yourself, what are you doing? Because if your activism only exists to shame others into inaction, then congrats, you're part of the problem. Support Palestine, speak up for Sudan, acknowledge Congo, fight for queer liberation everywhere, and stop making excuses. Because it is what it is. It is what it is until it's you. And by then, it will be too late.
Okay? This is why a lot of Jewish people, the real ones, anti-Zionists, they don't want to associate themselves with that state. It's a colony. Racist and white supremacy intensely, okay? Also, there's some money laundering or something like that. Just heard that. Something Tel Aviv, okay? There's some fucked up shit that is going on there, and there's some pedos that, you know, because that's where they go. That's where they go hide, and they go there, and they don't want people to know this because, yeah, the narrative is disgusting. Especially they get a thrive or something like that from, you know, making Palestinians, the original indigenous of the land, suffer, you know, go through genocide in a clinic like this. This is it. And USA, without the help of the USA, they will not exist, okay? So a lot of you, Father God wants you to understand that if a lot of things attacks and things, there is a scripture, okay? I'm gonna try to find it, but there's a scripture that says, like, rejoice when you're being prosecuted or attacked or something like that, especially by evil entities. Rejoice, because that means that whatever's coming back to you, it's greater. So whatever they're trying to take from you, steal, it's coming back to you 10 times full, okay? See, it says no rush, okay? That's the next. Holy Spirit, activate. Holy Spirit, activate. Activate. So yeah, there's a lot of jealous, envious energy, okay? So that's another thing that Spirit is exposing this to a lot of y'all, okay? Yeah, so there's no rush, okay? Just take it, things with a grain of salt, okay? I know the situation's, it's intense, okay? But a lot of you are going through serious warfare or spiritual warfare or something like that, a little heavier than most. It's because you are supposed to bring the karma to other people. So those people who are doing injustice things to you, that's what's going on. It's like the dharma is coming to you and their negative karma is to them, and it's accumulating, right? So a lot of you, like, let's say they accumulated karma already, like negative one, right? And they're expecting, you know, to get you know, it's gonna be fine, like, you know, because a lot of people they're in that schemy energy, like trying to get money quick energy, right? Or doing really disgusting things, you know, and thinking that they're just gonna get away with it, you know, especially those who think that because you have money already and you're trying to hoard more money and because you're white, then that's no, like, that's what's going on. Like, a lot of people, they're not dormant, at least the people who are like, well, I don't know what's going on. Yo, that's crazy. I charged my phone already, and the battery's already like, yeah, someone's trying to drain your energy, guys. This is a tactic to drain your energy, to keep you in fear, and that's crazy. My phone was charged. Like it was it's no way. That's crazy. It already drained the energy. That too, there's a free spell, free bullshit. Just wait for it. Wait for God, okay? Be patient. There's something that needs to happen, okay? For other people. And then you are gonna start seeing that all the negative blockages or anything is gonna come off, okay? Sorry that I have my air is coming out because my heater is still not working, but I know that whoever is trying to do bullshit, yeah, they're having a laugh right now, right? Like I said, God always have the last laugh, okay? So have your laugh, okay? Enjoy it, all right? Yes, there's a lot of bullshit, and these are people who pretend like, oh, she crazy, she doesn't know what you're talking about, you're making up stuff, right? But these are the people who are doing the shit behind the back, right? You pay people, you do bullshit, okay? But it's okay. The good thing is that we are aware, okay? And some people are just hateful, jealous, envious, conscious or unconsciously. It's just what it is. It's an energy, but it doesn't affect you guys. It will never touch you, okay? Others of you, there's a lot of injustices that people get away with it. It's not going to be forever. And that's what he kept saying, that it accumulates, okay? For those, like it's even higher for those who do evil things that comes from their heart. And most of them, they don't have a heart really. That's already up, that's demonic spirit. Do that to me one more time. Says Captain. Oh shit, yeah. Yeah, Father God is not playing. Like, yeah, do it to me one more time. Just one more time. Come on. Just do it one more time. Do it again. Do it again. Yeah. Like, he's literally, like, a lot of, like, he's in this last straw right now. And these are people who think, like, yeah, I can do what I like. They get at, like, an ego boost or ego drive or ego power to do this kind of shit, you know? To other people, innocent, or people who are speaking the truth. So yeah, there's a video that I found that Father God wants me to post about the Palestinian, the Jewish, who is an author, and he supports Palestine. Obviously, any sane person and person with humanity and kindness and a real heart will be on this right side of history right now, or the side of God. Like he keeps saying, it's the side of me and history, because he is shifting history, and it's through the people that are doing the right thing right now. Even through tribulation, even through the hate, even through the bullying, even through the gaslighting, even through the fear tactic, even if they lose everything. You stay fast, you learn from, you do your work. That's who God is right now. You are you are here to bring karma to a lot of people who are gonna be attacking you. Yeah, a lot of you like, oh no, I don't want to be attacked, I don't want to, like, no, you're missing out. You're missing out. Don't have that fear, just like colonizers. Be courageous, okay? Don't have fear. Sorry, I just saw something. Anyways, guys. I don't know, it's something about accumulation of like intense negative karma. And these are people who don't believe in this stuff, or believe in God's wrath or the purgatory, which is where they're going. And there's beyond purgatory, you know? So that's it. Like, just let them, like, just forgive also. I know it's hard and said and done. Today I got confirmation that I should go to court, but I'm gonna see. So maybe we can, I mean, I have the proof and everything. So this will not be my first case I won. So I'm gonna try and see. Wish me luck. But yeah, or maybe reduce the ticket, because it's just ridiculous. Like, it's crazy that instead of us like dealing with finances and saving and trying to survive these times, these people are constantly stealing from their own citizens, from their own people who live here. Like, that's how you know the society, the system is crumbled. It's just decay. It's a decay, you know? And trying to take from people who can't defend themselves, like the necessity transportation, that's fucked up. Anyways, that's what I have. Just have courage, okay? Especially like during this time, all right? I love you guys. Continue listening to God. Continue being obedient, okay? I'm sending you much love. Free Palestine, free Congo, free Sudan, okay? Remember, Congo needs us. Congolese people need us. Continue to educate yourself. Share any post, any content creator that you see right now that is posting about Congolese. Share it in your social media and your stories. Donate if you can. If you can't donate, share the donations, the mutual aids, okay? Sudan as well, okay? See, love me right. Exactly. That's how you show God that you love. You don't need to show God. God knows that what you guys do, but it's your actions that say everything. And God lives through all those people who are oppressed and dealing with injustices right now. We need a different system, and it's us who brings it. We can't expect all these people in power who are weak as fuck to help us. You cannot, all right? I love you guys.